Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we will learn how to build a simple to-do application from scratch using Angular 16 as front-end, Node and Express.js as back-end, and Mongo DB as the database. Here is a demo of the web application. We will first install all the prerequisites. Then we will create the database and objects required for our app. Next, we will create the backend project using Node and Express.js. And finally, we will start creating the Angular 16 project. Let's install Visual Studio Code. I have a Windows 64-bit system, so we'll download accordingly. Let's install it. Visual Studio Code is now installed successfully. Let us now install Node.js. First, let us download the installer file. Let's install. Let's verify the installation by checking the Node and npm version. We have successfully installed Node.js. Let's now install Angular CLI. Just open up Node.js command prompt and type this command. Let's now check the version. We can see that we installed version 16 of Angular CLI. Let us now set up the Mongo DB cluster required for our app. Let me log in to the portal first. We need to choose the free version for learning purposes. I will keep the cluster name as default. Let me create a user account for this cluster. Let me now create a database and also a collection for our to-do app. Let me also add a couple of notes into my collection. We can get the connection strings to connect to our backend here. We have now set up our Mongo DB cluster. Let us now create the Express.js backend project. Open command prompt and type the command npm init-y. This will basically create a package JSON file which will be needed to add the other required npm packages for our Express.js app. Let us now install Express Framework to create our backend REST APIs. By default, the Express app comes with a security to disable requests coming from different domains or ports. To override this, we need to install another package called cores. It is not recommended in production. Please only whitelist your familiar servers to access the backend APIs. Next, let us install the Mongo DB client. I had some issue with the latest version, so I am using the specific version of 4.1.0. Next, we need a package called Multer to read the request form data. Now let us open the project with Visual Studio Code. We can see an entry of all the downloaded npm packages here. Let me now create a file. Index.js. Here we will be adding our API methods. Let me import all the npm packages which we just downloaded. Let us create an instance of the Express app. and make it use the cores module. Now let us add the connection string of Mongo DB. Let us add the database name for making the Mongo DB connection, and also instantiate the Mongo DB client. App.listen will start the Express app and will listen to the requests coming from the mentioned port number. Let us instantiate our Mongo DB client here using the connection string and the created database name. Once connection is successful, let us display a success message. Let us check if we are able to make the connection. Just type node space index.js to start the backend server. Let us now add the API method to get all notes data from MongoDB collection. Let's check if this works. We can see that it works and we can see the data from our notes collection. Let us now add the method to add and delete the notes in our collection. We will have a simple logic to auto-calculate the ID field based on the number of documents in the collection. Once added, we shall send a success response. Let us now add the method to delete the give document from the collection. We will be deleting the document based on the ID which we will be sending via the query string. Once deleted, we shall send the success message as response. Our backend project is now complete. Let us now start creating the front-end project using Angular. To create a new project, we can use the command ng-new and the name of the project. We don't need routing as of now. And let's go with default CSS. The project is now created. Let us open the project using Visual Studio Code. Let's simply run the project and see how it looks. We can use the command ng serve -- open. We can see a default template provided by Angular. Let's remove all these in app component HTML. Let's just add header tag. To call our API methods, we need to use the HTTP client module. So let's just register it in app module file. Let's initiate the HTTP client in the constructor. Let's now add a variable to save the API URL. Let's add an array variable to store the notes data. Now let's add the method to call getNotesAPI. Once done, we will assign the response data to the notes array variable. We have a lifecycle method called ngOnInit, which gets executed on page load. We will call the refreshNotes method here. Now let's display the data in HTML. We can make use of ng for Let's check if this works. Looks like we have used wrong import in the app module file. We see the data is now displayed as expected. Now let's add methods to add and delete the notes. Let's add a text box to accept new notes. And a button to call the Add Notes method. Let's also add a button to delete the given notes. We need to pass the ID other notes to be deleted. Let's complete the add notes method. We need to first get the input data from text box. We need to add it in a form data to send it to the API. Once added, we will display the result and also refresh the notes data. Let's also complete the delete method. Let's pass the ID to be deleted. Let's verify if this works. We see that we are able to add new notes. Let's check the delete. The delete also works as expected.